What's up, folks? How y'all doing? Tonight's video, we're going to be digging into something a little bit different than the usual political programming. We're not going to be reacting to any of the weird show, The Breads and Circus, that was the English debate that was held here in Montreal. So I want to get away from that and talk about something more esoteric, spiritual, you could say. Some of you probably would be aware that this weekend is Passover, the Catholic Easter, and the Orthodox Easter. So I've been feeling a little, a little bit excited to getting into the flow of things. I don't particularly celebrate Easter at all. I just enjoy the company. I enjoy the ritualism. I'm just observing. So it really doesn't do much for me other than just going with the flow of this particular time. Now that spring is officially here, so I'm just in that mode. But I want to talk about something that I don't see too many people talking about. And normally I don't give advice, but I will give you my anti-made and unsolicited advice, okay? Yes, I literally just called myself an aunt. Technically I am by proxy, but regardless of that. So, you guys want to get into spirituality. I can help you with that. This video may not be very long, but I will try to do my damnedest to give you guys some deep gnosis from my own experience of embracing a spiritual path. Keep in mind, this is coming from somebody who has gone through different phases in their life where it just didn't suit me, okay? So again, born a Catholic, was an agnostic, then I became a Wiccan, then I was an atheist for a few years, and during this whole period of time, a lot of weird synchronicities had happened to me that I used to call, that's just the weird side of life. Like, it tends to happen every so often. But deep down, I still had a fascination with occultism. Specifically, the spiritual side, one that it concerns the inner alchemy, one that embraces the path for that individual. Now, at this point, and it's probably no surprise to a lot of people, if it is, well, what have you been doing on this channel? Where have you been hiding all this time? I've been coming out of the shadows more or less and just embracing the absurdities of this world, embracing my own absurdities and coming out of the shadow. Now, what did I do specifically to get back into spirituality? Well, the very advice that I would give myself, I am going to be giving to you guys. It is probably... Look, I'm not reinventing the wheel here, to be honest. I'm not reinventing anything. Any person who is comfortable in their spiritual path and it's working out for them will tell you this, okay? There is a difference between the spiritual path that people will impose on you versus you embracing your own. And so, what's my advice for those who want to embrace a spiritual path of their own? You have to go with what resonates with you. That's pretty much the long and short of it. It's not that complicated to explain, but in terms of having to go through the entire process of cultivating your own path is not a linear one. It's not an easy one. You're going to get overwhelmed even after all this time that I've been on the path that I'm on. I still get overwhelmed, but I also get excited because there's like so many things that I want to do. And I know my temperament. I could definitely burn out. So why am I saying this? Well, as I stated, I see a lot of, I see some people in my life and on Loser Book, they're talking about Easter and blah, 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 that we should be better. And I always wanted to ask this question for a lot of people, and I'm going to pose it here, which in turn leads me to this, I guess, not necessarily conclusion, but this inner wisdom that I've gained over time. The problem with a lot of people feeling unfulfilled is the spiritual path that they're on. Are you on that path only because you were born into this path? Because of your family? Because it's just been reinforced? Is it truly what you resonate with? And when I say resonate with, you'll know the feeling that I'm talking about. You will know that it is something that meets you in your core, that you could feel. That there's an automatic there. It just clicks. There's a connection. Versus what it is that you've been told from a young age. And I've had people try to tell me, reinforce my past, saying that you were baptized, you were born a Catholic, your soul is Catholic, which is a little bit an odd thing to say because I never resonated with Catholicism. And since when does a religion have a monopoly on what your soul is? So is there like a Greek Orthodoxy soul? Is there a Hindu soul? Is there a Jewish soul? Is there a pagan soul? That's a little bit odd to me. That's the weirdest wording I've ever fucking heard. But the thing is, people who have this one way of viewing things because of what had happened in the past have, for me, I would just say, well, you never stepped outside of your own religion. You never stepped outside of that. You never questioned it. Are you just saying that because you're just being reinforced to believe the things that you were taught after X amount of years? Or is this truly what you honestly resonate with, that you connect to? As time goes on, it's normal that you're not going to feel a connection with certain things that you didn't in the past. That's normal. It's the same thing even on the left-hand path. But I just want to say something concerning the left-hand path because there is this huge, huge misconception that people will think when they hear the left-hand path. They just think it's Satanism and Luciferianism. It's a lot deeper than just those two currents, those two archetypes. To say that that's all there is just short-sighted and ignorance. Okay? There's more to it than just that. A lot of us that are on the left-hand path and who know other people who share the same views, who share the same current to a degree. Obviously, there's always different variations. You're not going to agree with everybody on that level. But the thing is, our paths don't look the same. What you're going to connect with in one way may not be the same for another. I see a lot of individuals that are on the left-hand path that practice black magic, that practice chaos magic, that are demonolators and whatever the fuck, will use, let's say, the Goetia, for example. I don't resonate with that. I don't resonate with it. I do resonate with the definition of what a daemon is, in the Greek sense. I also resonate with chaos magic, as it's pretty obvious at this point. Hello, look at the meme. And some people just don't resonate with other things. That's the other thing. I don't even involve the image of Baphomet. And when I say Baphomet, I'm not talking Livas Levi's Baphomet. I'm talking the one that the Satanic Temple uses, or even the Church of Satan, for example. But to say that it's just those two things is bullshit. Is complete fucking bullshit and very ignorant. So, I mean, if anybody is ever interested in having to read up on the left-hand path, I mean, there's a few posts ago where I list off a few authors and books. My own little collection there. There's more to it than just that. But aside from that, everyone's path is going to look different. But the real thing is, what is it that you resonate with? And when you resonate with something, you will know. You will definitely know that there's a connection to it. But again, as time goes on, you're going to evolve. What you connected with a few years back will not connect with you presently at the moment. So for some people that have been the same throughout their entire life, it just clicks with them. Some people it's just like that. But to go around and say that there's only one way of doing things, that this way is the truth, this is the only way, and you're like this, is to ignore the billions of people that have tried and experimented with other religions and spiritualities to try to find answers because they have that intellectual and spiritual curiosity. Is to like completely ignore that, and you're not focusing on your own evolution. So I think that is just really one-sided. I think it is bullshit. And I like talking about this sort of stuff with people. The Christians that I get along with are the ones I would consider heretical, but it's not heretical in a bad way. It's heretical in the sense of they're not of the mainstream. These are people that would practice magic. These are people that have read the Bible, different versions of it, and realize that there's more complexities than what meets the eye and than just questioning the dogma and the fundamentals of the Vatican, for example. Okay, those, and the ones that are open-minded, those are the types of Christians, or any person, really, who has that train of thought, are ones that I could get down with. The ones that you could have a good time with and just be at a fucking cafe and just shooting the fucking shit, or being on a live stream on. And there's not gonna be, like, infighting for what? You know? So that's my unsolicited advice for some people. You know, you question your beliefs, which is totally fine. It's totally normal. But are you believing the things that you believe because this is what you were told to believe? Or is it because you truly resonate with it? And once you start to ask yourself those questions, you're going to start to open up your intuition and be more sensitive to the absurdities of life that the logical mind will not always understand. But there is some logic within the irrational too. Sounds a little bit of a contradiction, but when you have experienced weird things, you will understand that that is some of the absurdities that you have in life. Don't always believe, even in the political sense, of what the internet tells you. The internet has, unfortunately, it's been good, but the interactions and the sloganeering is just so fucking lame at this point. Sometimes you have to shorten it to get your point across, but there's more complexities than simply just, for example, saying that women are stuck in their masculine energy, for example. What does that mean when you guys say that? What does that mean when you say that a woman is too much in her masculine energy? Do you even know what constitutes as masculine energy? The qualities and the characteristics that make up said person. A woman is not just, like, never mind the sex. We're talking about the current, the qualities, the characteristics of that person's personality that they have. There are women that are tomboys, for example. I mean, I'm literally one. I don't identify as a male, but I'm not going to ignore my femininity, and just to say that, oh, women are like this and feminine and blah, 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 is so constraining, too much in a fucking box. And then there's no conversation about the light and the dark side of these things. Again, with learning Hermeticism and even putting in a bit of Eastern philosophy in my own spiritual path, and also because of the martial arts too, gives you an understanding of yourself that makes sense to you and just lays out and fleshes out my path, and it goes beautifully with connecting to the goal of self-mastery. That's what the left-hand path is about. That's what it's about. So again, my point is with bringing up that example is don't always believe the things that you guys fucking hear online that are a little bit too simplistic. I know it sounds all fantastical and shit, but again, that's my advice to you. If you want a real living spirituality, you have to live authentically within your true will with things that you connect with. Versus I don't get much satisfaction or I don't resonate with what it is that I was born into. That's totally fine. You're not a bad person for questioning that. So that's basically it. Peace out.